All right, we're live. Hello. Hello, everyone. Happy afternoon.
Good morning.
Good evening. What are you going to
Happy,
say? Good Friday?
We missed
yes,
good
happy Good
afternoon.
Friday. It is Good Friday. I
Yeah.
wore purple for Miss Alisa today because I know that's her collar.
It is. That's
So,
my color. And I seen your little note in the link there, that it's pants free Friday.
yes, it is.
Yep.
So I went and made sure I
Well,
put my
make it up.
BBGs on.
We don't wear pants on Friday. It's too hot. It's been a long week. We just, nope.
Tell
So,
you what, the South is
Speaking of
rising
hot,
again because
guys.
it sure enough has been getting hot. Let me tell you.
yeah, I bet it
Speaking
is
of
down
hot,
there.
it's over 80 over here.
Yeah, Nadia's in Brazil. So,
Mhm.
Okay.
right. Okay, guys. So we want to welcome Miss Alisa. You guys know who she is. We don't need to go through who are you and where'd you come from.
Where'd you come from, Lee?
Yeah. All questions we're going to direct towards Miss Alisa, and she says she's refreshed and doesn't need a nappy because she had one. But if she does need to bow out, that's okay. But all questions are for her today. I already have some. But I would like Miss Alisa to tell your green light story.
Ooh.
Oh, the green
Would you
light.
do, would you do that?
I can do that. I absolutely
Okay.
can. Because I did leave a part of it out whenever I was talking about that.
Oh, that's
Um,
okay.
I work as a industrial janitor, okay, in a company that my brother works for, and I work nighttime there, okay, and it's a good job. It gives me quietness instead of daytime, all the machines running, all that kind of good stuff. But I've been there, and I think I'd mentioned in one of the videos that my niece, who worked with me, she actually seen a UFO and caught it on video, all right. So she's like all excited and telling me, "Well, I guess you're not crazy, at least." Well, I know I'm not crazy.
Well, you are, but that's okay.
That's right. I'm a new kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So, but I do
Yay!
show it to all her good
Variety.
friends. But anyway, at the part of the building that I was working at, that caused this green light was I was in the corner of the building, and I was over there where the bathroom was at. And then when I went in the bathroom, and as I was coming out, when I opened the door, I walked right onto a ship. And I'm like, how? How? How did I
Wow.
do that? And it's because they can phase through things, just like they can walk through walls and stuff like that there. Well, the same thing applied as they had come down with their. I can't say it was a shuttle because when I walked on it, it was pretty big. I could see people walking around and stuff. Where the other times that Hanai and Kaylin has picked me up, obviously inside of it, you can see it's just a small shuttle, a small odd shuttle. But this was bigger, and I'm thinking, how did you do that?
Right.
They had explained it to me, but they had got me and interrupted me at work. So then my second thought was, wait a minute, I'm at work, and they're telling me not to worry about that. So, but the information that they were giving me was the first thing that was coming out of their mouth was, I know you've been waiting on some kind of a green light, and I'm like, yes, yes, we have. And he said,
Yeah.
well, yeah, and I said, well, we do have good news about that. And because the timelines are so fixed now and the positive energy is so high, and so many of us are a unity consciousness on wanting and desiring the same things, we are manifesting the best outcome for all of us because the majority of us are on the same page, same mind thought,
Yeah.
And they were telling me that by summer, Elon is supposed to be announcing these Tesla beds that he has. Okay, and they will be able to cure cancer, dementia, Alzheimer's, and stuff like that there, but they will not be able to regrow limbs nor rejuvenate you.
Okay.
Okay, that's specifically with these quantum med beds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but these beds are going to be pretty amazing. I do not know how they're going to go about it. As far as like, do you have to have insurance? Is it free? Blah, blah, blah. But common sense tells me that since Doge is saving us lots and lots of monies and putting us back into the surplus for the people, there's your money for those beds. But then, okay, now you got the price covered. How do you vet these people? How do you choose who goes first? Who gets the chance to opportunity to do it? Who's going to make that list? Okay. But I do know they have been vetting people, and our star families are vetting us. And of course, they're going to think about the most severe first. If you're still chicken and you're good, then, be calm and patient because there's people out there that's worse off than you are. Okay. So that's how they're going to do it. They're going to do it by the most needed first. Okay. And of course, we all know that the veterans are at the top of that.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're already in the midst of Trump's already announcing that they're going to use $2 billion to get the homeless off the street. And that includes all the veterans. Okay.
Wow.
That's a lot of our projects, though.
I was going to say that scraps all our projects, right?
No, that's just the beginning stages of it.
Yeah.
$2 billion ain't nothing. That's just the little tiny spots here and there. Okay. Over the United States.
Mm-hmm.
But then whenever you get all these other funds coming in, that's going to help maintain it and make it go even further. But they are going to make an effort to get a lot of these homeless people and the vets off the streets. And then I was told that a lot of the homeless people, believe it or not, are Tartarians in disguise. And I'm like, well, why would they do that? And then they let me know more information that the Tartarians are stepping in a lot of these roles. And the reason why is same thing like whenever I was telling everybody that whenever I first met Hanai and Kaylin, they were in my backyard, right? And whenever I was going out the door, I was in kind of like a huff. Who are these people in my yard? But as I got walking towards closer to them, I can feel this welcomingness. I can feel this wonderful energy, this safety, everything, and a deja vu. I know you, that feeling. And that made me walk up to them even more fearless, and I was relaxed and I was just curious, but I love that energy. Now, if they can do that, and then even whenever I went onto the mothership, I felt so much joy, so much happiness. And there wasn't no anger and everything. It was shocking to find out the things that I found out, but I couldn't get angry about it. It was the energy kept me stable. Okay. Right. And it made me logical. It made me ask questions instead of getting upset or anything. Now I felt that when I got back here, I was pissed. Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But that energy is what I'm saying. Now, the Palladians, whenever I get around them or whenever they come and visit me, the first thing that lets me know that they are here is I will start laughing. I get that such a giddy, happy, oh, this is so great. It's wonderful energy. And the Palladians do have that kind of residency about them. And I do appreciate that. It's just like, y'all need to stand over there. Just stand over there so I won't get so happy.
Get the giggles.
Yeah. And, but they have been testing us to see, what our levels is at. And they're saying that the Tartarians, because that energy is so good, they can place these people in all of these positions in mask or just as characters themselves because they need that energy on the field. And they're saying now you can go to the post office and like being at the post office and the DMV and the grocery store because they're everywhere to help put that energy on the field, and you'll feel the difference whenever you walk into these places. You'll feel the difference of the people. Look at that. There you go.
Watch her. She don't waste time.
A little sneaky.
She don't waste time.
I mean, I have a question with what you're saying that the Tartarians or Pleiadians are in places where we hate going. Now, if their frequency is super high, does it cause us to go to a higher density or ascension symptoms when we're near them?
You can. Yes, you absolutely can. And they've been testing us and helping to prepare us. It's kind of like giving us little drops of this while we're sleeping. So that we and they show on the grand stage of everything, everybody's more in a positive state of mind. Everybody's on the same page. They're wanting the better things. Now you got to think, what helped contribute to that, and that is this wonderful energy that is being shared with us, so that they can boost ours. Okay, and as they boost our energy, lo and behold, we can see more UFOs. We can see more ghosts or figments of things or little things that happens in your house and stuff like this here. Anomalies, because their energy is what's bringing it in. Now, that was their plan, was to, because it seems like we're going to lose a lot of people because of the NPCs, that are on the field. Okay, but now those NPCs are being taken out. But as to keep everything from collapsing on itself, you need to have somebody to replace those roles to make it look normal. Okay, so the Tartarians have come in to fill all these roles. Okay. Now, even people that you might be very familiar with over the years, you never spoke to your mailman, but it's the same dude all the time. Well, now, that character is being played by a Tartarian. It will look like the same character because we all know that they have these masks, right?
Yeah.
So, and some will not need masks, and they do look a lot like us, but those particular roles, they will put on masks. Now, if everybody can remember in the movie Men in Black, they went into the post office and they were all aliens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. But now it's just the opposite. It's to our advantage. So, and it's going to change the energy. It's going to change everything. And people will want to notice, hey, God, I went to the grocery store today and everybody was just so nice to me. Or I went to the post office and they actually served me with a smile.
Yeah.
That kind of thing, Or the DMV, nobody wanted to blow it up. So, there you
Well,
go.
that's true. Well, I've noticed I've always I dreaded going out in public because people are just nasty, especially since 2020.
Yeah.
And I just avoided it as much as I could. But I've noticed recently that when I go out, now even small town can have some grumpies.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's on a different level. And I can see auras, and they're bigger and they're brighter.
Nice.
Yep.
And so people aren't afraid to approach you anymore.
Right.
So now I'm wondering, are
Well, the funny thing is the opposite for me. I'm sorry,
No,
Alisa.
you're right ahead, sweetie.
No, I said I find it the opposite for me. Outside, I'm going outside, actually karaokeing last night, and the joy and the happiness outside. Then I come home, and that's the grumpy.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, that's
So
the parents.
not just it's even siblings on the phone, but it's like, wait a minute, it's a big shift now. We're having more happiness outdoors than
Yeah.
within family dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, how are you dealing with it, though? Because you've got
that's
to
the
be
thing.
there.
At the end of the day, if you said I haven't killed anybody or drank, I'm on a good roll. That's it.
Yeah.
Nobody died. So
I'm
it's
not
good.
in jail, so I'm okay.
Yeah, there you go. But the thing is, it's a test for you of how they resonate for you. But it's also some of them did have the jabby jabs,
Yeah.
and you have to know maybe there's NPCs or whatever. But in raising your frequency, there is no division between us and them. So that's the test. How do we treat them instead of saying, "Oh, they're NPCs. I don't have to deal with them." We still do have to interact with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, mine has been good on the outside, and I ain't got too much to complain about on the inside other than my own silence sometimes. But I mean, I go out there and everything's good, blah, blah, blah. And then the other day, I come in and I was in a peppy mood, because everything was just a good feeling, good energy, right? And I'm thinking, wow, I should be so exhausted right now, right? And I wasn't. I come in and I was in a happy mood, I said, I might even have myself some rose tea, I was feeling pretty good. And then I walk into my bedroom and then I realized that my dog had gotten out of the cage, this new puppy that I have. And he, my brothers and sisters, I'm pretty calm for the most part, but he ate a hole in my bed.
You're still whole human.
And I went ballistic. You butterfucker. Oh my God. His name is Butter. His name is Butter. And I just was livid, because I'm like, how did that happen? And I was like, you little Houdini thing. And I caught myself that I went from this extreme, wonderful feeling.
Yeah.
And something like that made me snap. I didn't hurt the dog, nobody. I just called him a butterfucker, but I didn't hurt him. Okay. But it's still, I just was amazed how quickly that moment was.
It's
shattered.
like a switch gets flipped.
Yeah, and I caught myself. I said, you're so lucky I don't kill you.
It's funny because it is a learning device that they said set up for failure. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like there's still stuff within you to trigger you. So they set you up as in happy, happy, happy. Bam. Now how are you going to react? So it's a test for all of us to go through it and don't give up, guys. I'm going to say this to whoever's listening. Don't give up and say, but I tried meditation and I couldn't do it. It's a setup for failure. So keep trying it, keep moving forward, try different avenues because you're going to get tested once you think everything's all hunky-dory.
Yeah. And try something different. If it didn't work, it's probably just not for you. Try something different.
Just stand on your head and try it.
Of my bed. So, I mean, he gets to live another day. So, but I mean, and meditation, it's surprising you how you get set up for these moments and it just kind of like hits you. But as far as like meditation, my brothers and sisters, you don't necessarily have to sit there and be quiet. You can if you choose to. you know. But meditation, to what God has explained to me, is whenever you're just being happy.
Yeah.
Because
For
that
being in the now.
just be happy in your now moment, you know, to
Yes.
the best of your ability. That's meditation.
That's easy. I'm always happy.
It
Yeah.
means different things to different people. So wherever your happy spot is, you know, it could be walking in nature or whatever. That's meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also meditation is a moment of silence. So
Yes.
as our society is, did I do the laundry? Was I supposed to do this? That's not meditation. Even if you're happy and you know these are your routines and you're still thinking in your head, you need that still silence of that now moment in order to meditate and be connected with the spirit.
Yes, I agree. Whenever God first told me that, you know, I needed to meet myself, I was like, what do you mean? I need to meet you.
Yeah, like no thanks.
And,
I've met myself.
I've already had it up of me. What?
and God told me in my silence, there I will find myself.
King.
Right? So, and I'm like, okay, well, let me give this here a try. And I found in the beginning of it, a lot of people have said the same thing to me, that we could not even sit alone with ourselves for 30 minutes because we didn't know how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so in that 30 minutes, you'd be surprised how people will spiral in their mind because they don't know what to do. Like they're used to some kind of action, some kind of noise, some kind of distraction.
Yeah.
Okay. And therefore they can't sit still. So, and I had the same thing, you know, I was like, okay. And God said, well, just take it 5 minutes at a time, you know? And I'm like, okay, well, you told me you wanted to meet myself. And God says, huh? You will. So, and 5 minutes at a time, and it kept building. Now I can pretty much sit there for hours in total silence, and it doesn't even bother me because I'm my own entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, I'm my own sight, my own vision, and the things that God shows me. But it does take time to get to the point where you are very happy by yourself.
Yeah.
Now God told me that I was going to meet myself. Okay. And whenever I met myself, I didn't like who I was. It scared the fuck out of me. I ain't gonna lie. And I was like, no, that's not me. and God said, are you sure? It's like, yeah. and God says, well, you need to remember, you know, that even those who can't remember, you harbor and hold trauma of things that you can't remember or you don't want to bring to the front. Okay. And even whenever I was confronted with it, I denied it because it had been blocked so far back that to me, it wasn't mine. It wasn't my memory. And come to find out it is. Okay. So I had to face myself. And in the process of doing that, you know, it's fear that runs over you because you're like, oh my God, that's me. No way. And there's like, oh my God, I'm going to be punished or I'm going to burn in hell because all of this fear just overwhelms you. And then you start to realize that, you know, that you got through it and you survived it. And God said, did you learn anything from it? Right now, the only thing that I'm learning is the fear that it's causing me to feel, you know, and God said, well, just observe, don't absorb. So I started observing and I started understanding that these are the things that were trapped inside my body. You know, these are the nightmares that most people would call them, or the lies that we never wanted to admit, you know, and in the midst of that, I started having a heart for the character I was looking at. Okay. And somehow it's not that I separated myself from it, but I was looking at it from a third person perspective with me and God. And that helped me understand that everything that I've been through, I can't regret it. And now I'm thankful for everything, even the horrible thing, because it made me who I am today. You know?
Exactly. Amen to that.
So therefore, don't be scared of the things that you have to face about yourself, because those are what made you who you are, and you survived it. And also another thing that, because we think that we're working through these things, you know, I forgive it, I put it to the side, stuff like this here, and I've done the same thing, right? Well, lo and behold, another thing comes back around, and it's the same thing, and I said, God, well, I already took care of this. You know, I thought I've forgiven this and everything's good. Why is it here? And God said, because I need you to fix it. How can I fix it? It's past, right? And God said, well, it's not your past. I said, what do you mean? We each have 1 million of ourselves all the way around us.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever we make a choice, our character, our conscious will slide to that next character. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a zigzag. You'll end up going where you need to go, but you're going up, right?
Yep.
And but whenever you make these choices, it determines on that next reality that you're going to have. Okay. So I got a little sidetracked there because of that. I apologize.
That's okay.
But we can, I'm not really sure how I want to phrase that. So give me a question.
Okay. Well, I understand that inner work because when you start doing it, when I started doing it, I was ready to punch myself in the throat. Okay.
Right.
But crossing over and walking with God, one of my experiences is he taught me, he said, I want you to see you the way I see you.
Yeah.
You were my child.
Mm-hmm.
And I see you as this little baby. This is my creation. And that's how I came up with that stop spitting on the mirror thing, because you're spitting on God.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said, you've got to learn self-love, and you do not love yourself.
Right.
And because you don't see yourself the way I see you. He said, how do you see your children? And I, of course you love your children unconditionally. You want to strangle them half the time.
Yeah.
But he said, yeah, frustration can be a thing. And he says, but you have to love them through it. You don't always have to like them, but you love them.
Well, now I remember what I was going to say. I apologize. I had a brain fart, my brother.
It's all right.
We all do.
But whenever these memories or these feelings or emotions come back around to you, and you know that you've already tended to it and you've already forgiven it, the reason why it's coming back around to you is like God told me to fix it. Well, how do I fix it? God said, well, there's so many versions of you. Now, I'm giving you that memory back because another you is experiencing that right now and is calling out for your help. So you can change the narrative. You can change it for them. Just like we call out for help and get answers, well, so do our other selves. And sometimes we can hear that, and we hear it, and God will use it as a memory that we've already been through, that now they're going through. So therefore you can change it for them. Okay, well, you went out the left this time, or you did this or did that. You can change it for them because they're looking for answers. Remember that all of it exists at the same time. You just happen to be conscious in this particular one, but it doesn't mean that other versions of you aren't still going through that. You can even have one of a version of you as a little child, and it's happening right now. You see? So
Bless your heart.
Come around, you can change it for that other self, and that's healing not only them, but it's healing within you too.
Right.
Jen, you cannot say F off to your little self. Okay.
Oh, no, but I will to my other adult versions. I can hear the mouth on the other versions of me. One of them is probably a nun and would never say it. So,
It's like, oh, no, but I pulled a Vippy because what I'm noticing now are a lot of people are getting their fractals coming back to them of even past lives, of karma from past lives.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things that it's a progress. It's not, you're never going to be done, but you have to love yourself through all the stuff that we've done in our past lives.
Yep. And we agreed in our contract to carry it across the threshold for our ancestors and for our other selves. That's why you were here. This is the finalization of all of this. And we're carrying all this luggage with us because we said we could and we can. And we were chosen to do just that because there's been so many failures. I don't like to say it like that, but maybe things that were unresolved that now you have volunteered to carry that for your family.
And we still have those moments. What were we thinking when we signed these contracts?
Yeah, man.
Why did we agree to do this? But there's a reason.
I hate the green room. They give us drinks and then they have us go and sign the contracts. It's terrible. No, but
they got us drunk first. That's
no, but what I usually do, and I know everybody already knows about this, is we do forgiveness techniques with Master Co. But what I do, I add to it, I forgive in this life and in past. If I did it or somebody did it to me, because that's like you said, we have to get rid of the generational baggage also.
Yeah,
and that'll lighten you up.
Comes into play, that's why they have these elders, is because they have so much wisdom about them.
Yeah.
It's like, how did they get to that point? Somebody tell me. and we're learning ourselves how to get to that point with wisdom and patience and understanding, and to yourself. If you can't forgive yourself, nobody else will. If you can't love yourself, nobody else will.
Yeah, exactly.
And I do. I happen to really like myself. I think I like my unique character. She's been through hell and back with me, and I think she's a tough broad. So
Yeah.
I admire that, and because of my defiance, I guess, persistence, it's got me to where I am, and that tells me that my vehicle, my character, has been through this ride with me, and she carries the scars. You know, I have lots and lots of scars, and I was actually sitting outside, and the light was hitting my arms, and my daughter is like, she goes, "Oh my God, Mom, look at all those scars." I said, "What scars?" She goes, "Those ones." I said, "They ain't scars. Those are trophies." She said, "From what?" I said, "For no hesitation." Can your ass say that?
No
There you go.
hesitation.
That's
I'm
right.
waiting. I'm waiting for King to say, "Wait until they get a whole load of me." Where are you, King? You're quiet over there.
So, I mean, I take it,
Wait
this is me.
till they
This
get
is
a
who I am,
load of-
and my scars and the things that whatever. This is my character, and I
Yeah.
will not let somebody make me feel shameful of my character. That's not
That's
going to
right.
happen.
They made you who you are.
You know?
Mhm. And they try. They try. I mean, I do have somebody very critical who's like, you're not losing weight, and I'm like, you know what? I'm Buddha. I'm Buddha.
I'm
Rub
full
my
of
belly.
love.
Rub my belly, rub my belly.
That's right. Rub my
I'm
belly.
actually starting to look like a fertility goddess, so be careful.
Right.
Ah, that's
Oh,
okay.
Lord.
Just
She's found the man.
You look like you are for a reason. You're supposed to look like you are for a reason. If everybody was the same, life would be boring. And
So I don't let anybody.
my whole
I don't
life.
let any-
I
yeah.
like the diversity of people because everybody is different, and that makes it more interesting.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, I have to like who I am inside and out. So if you're gonna test me to make me self-confident, well, I'm sorry, this is who I am.
That's right. Love who you are. Exactly. Don't let
Not
nobody
if you don't change.
take that from you. I mean,
Yeah.
if people don't like my white hair, hell, they ain't got to look at me. I wasn't here to please your ass. I was put here to help everybody.
To kick your ass.
You know?
I think Elisa's fallen in line of what I've been trying to teach everybody. If they don't like it, what do you tell them? Fuck off.
What do you say?
And ever since Trump came out with a thing about free speech, I mean, when he did that executive order, it's just like it opened up all of our brothers and sisters' mouths again. I don't have to take this. I don't have to stand here and allow you to speak to me like that because it might hurt your feelings. I don't give a flip if it hurts your feelings. It's true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't wait for him to sign that executive order. I never felt it.
Yeah, I didn't either. So
If you don't like it, I'm sorry. That's called truth.
Well,
and
we
the
come,
truth
we
can
come
hurt
from
sometimes.
we come from generations that were brought up to fuck your feelings. No one cares.
Yeah,
Okay.
man.
That's what makes you tough.
That's right. Get your ass back up and brush it off. Keep going. You'll be all right.
That's
Put
right.
some dirt on it.
Or I didn't make that mess. You did it. You fix it. Don't come to me. I didn't make it. Now these kids nowadays, oh no, I made a mess. Can you fix it?
I know.
No. And my mom and daddy did teach me some good values. I mean, I had my own time with my family, but they did teach me some pretty good things that I carried with me. My mom was, her biggest thing was, child, you can dislike many things in this world, but the day you hate something is the day it hates you back.
Yeah.
And that's something, And with my daddy, it was, you can tell people the truth every day, but that ain't shit until it's realized. And it's like amazes me how these things have followed me through my whole life because that is reigning true. And I try not to hate anything. I can dislike many things, but I've had my moments. I've had
That's all right.
I have one my mama taught me.
Yeah.
If you're gonna cry, I'll give you something to cry about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Absolutely.
my mama said,
I
like,
brought you into
words
this
are like
Junior. I'll take you out.
yeah.
I told my son, his teenage, you can hate me now, but you're gonna love me later.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
Yeah,
Words
absolutely.
are like boomerangs. And the last time I checked, your ass got shot, which you can't see.
Yeah.
We should do that for a deep dive. Quotes from our parents.
Gosh.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
That's an ongoing series.
It is definitely a different generation, because I come from country folks, and those country folks, they were not lazy.
That's right.
None of them were.
That's a fact. And pretty much in my family, everybody pretty much knew how to work on cars or engines or played some kind of an instrument or whatever. I want to say hillbilly folk, but they're on the ground, not in the mountains.
Yeah.
But nowadays it's so different. And even though I had problems and stuff with my own family, the one thing that I can say that they did, I didn't like it then. I really despised it then. But
Yeah.
now I really do have a lot more appreciation. Was they all lived around each other, and to me that was a nightmare. Okay,
Well,
but everybody helped everybody, and every weekend everybody would get together and have a big feast. Everybody would bring something, and it would keep them together, keep them tied together, and they would help one another. Even though they argued and everything, not good sometimes, it was always the family there that was there to help, to make sure that nobody did without. And
Yeah.
I really do appreciate that fact about it, you know. And
I do want to address what do they call the elephant in the room, though. We have two separate generations where you listened and believed what your parents taught you. And then we have the starseed younger generation who are stuck on video games because their purpose is not there yet. And the conflict about, oh, you're lazy, or how come you can't figure it out or find a job? What do you do in that little space between hard work and working ready for the future? Because they're being prepared to get ready for the future.
yeah.
So what happens between that dynamic?
Well, that's why we're the bridge. You know, people who are over 40, I'll say 50 and up, we're that bridge because we're the last generation that can remember all this stuff, you know, and therefore we're supposed to bring it back into the fold with these young people and get their priorities back. But they're going to need teachers. They're going to need people, you know, the people that they despised is going to become the people that will be their mentors, because we do remember what it was like, you know, and we want that. We thrive for it, and we want to pass that on. And we want to take responsibility for all the things that we did incorrectly on this playing field. And that's all parents. All parents are wanting the same thing. They want to make it better because they understand now that if they don't do something, then our future is pretty much left in the hands of incompetent young people.
Right.
So,
Well, I think we teach them how to self-preserve, work hard, take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
And they turn around and teach us how to work electronics because we're like,
Yeah.
what are these things?
Yeah.
It's
It's
an
a good
equal
fair
balance.
trade-off, right? It's a good fair trade-off. We
Yeah,
teach
I
you old
think
school,
so.
you teach us new school.
I'll
you know?
teach you how to garden and preserve your own food if you teach me how to click these buttons because they drive me crazy.
Oh
Well,
man,
that's
my
true.
son
That's
has moments because my son is my savior when it comes to any kind of computer stuff, you know. And then he'll come in here, just don't touch it. What did you do?
But they don't teach you. They don't teach you. They just go like this. Okay, mom, you're done. But it's like, I need to know what you just did step by step, so I know. But they're also under even though you're talking about work motives and all that, they don't believe in the money system.
Right.
So they're way ahead maybe of the star seeds of other children, but we're trying to, do we want to get them in the mainstream and work and do that? Or are we waiting for them to be ready for the future where that doesn't exist?
Well, I think it's kind of like a merger as you're flowing forward, just like a wave. It's going to start covering all of it. It's going to merge it, and everything is going to become one. But we need them as much as they need us. And there's a lot that's being born or has been born that is here now that are young, and they hold some great intelligence inside of them. And,
Oh, yeah.
And how do we help them expose that? And that would be, you know, this new technology, this new world, you know, these humanitarian projects. You know, that's going to bring some great geniuses on board that's just been waiting for that kind of a moment because they didn't know what else to do with themselves, you know. So that's going to be a benefit to us too. And that goes along with back to the green light. Didn't mean to get distracted.
Yeah.
But also that was not just the Tesla beds come summertime, but also that they're going to give us the names on these accounts to these offshore accounts, Bahama accounts, so forth. They're going to give us these names, and it's going to be tied back to people in Congress.
Right.
And therefore they're going to get majorly exposed. And so that's going to ruffle a lot of feathers as well. But they're all characters. Remember that. None of this would be happening if somebody didn't cut the snake's head off in the background. Somebody cut the head off the snake. So, and therefore, they're allowing themselves to be exposed and show the foolishness that they are. But they also have to abide by their own rules. And one of their own rules is at the end, they have to tell you publicly what they want to do to you.
Exactly.
To help try to clear some of their karma. So that's why they're out there saying, no, we want murderers out here. We want to bring the murderers and rapists right back here to America because that's where they belong. You know, But they're showing us. Now, what person in their right mind would do that?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Well,
You
I
know?
always called it a universal law. They have to tell you what they want to do. They have
Yeah.
to.
And now they're doing it more idiotically in their protests and the things that they're saying, and it's exposing themselves drastically. And that's good because, that's letting us know who the characters are on the playing field, and it exposes. Trump does the same thing within Congress. He does certain things and he see how the Republicans and the Democrats respond to that.
Right.
I mean, I used to I don't dislike Rand Paul, but he definitely showed his true colors.
Mm-hmm.
And as another thing that my mama told me that, it doesn't matter who you are, give them time. Everybody will show their true colors.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
give them time. And that's exactly what is happening. They're showing their true colors. And it's sad, but I understand why Trump is doing it that way. But as far as like the green light, I'm being told that by the end of the year, all of us is going to hear those magical words, "We are not alone."
Peanut butter.
Yeah, and whenever we hear that from, we already know that, but we need somebody on TV or the president or somebody to say that to make it
For people to believe it.
yeah,
Yeah.
for people to believe it. But whenever they do announce this here, that's the green light for our star families.
Well, that kind of leads me into this next question. What do you think? I think this is like a starting to soft reveal. I mean, we've been aware because we've been awake for quite a while.
Yeah.
Trump's team, even himself, just recently talking about the technologies that no one knows about. And the team even admitted that they have the capability of bending time and space.
Yes.
That's amazing that they're revealing that.
Yeah, I just sent that to Honey yesterday. Well, Honey and Dana, I sent that to them yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, can they stop squeezing
And
them?
they also said in science.com, they also said that there is a portal outside of the solar system, right outside of our solar system. There is a portal that we could just slide right through, and I'm thinking, wow, okay, so why would y'all say that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Or the fact that that now they have just found 157 more moons around Saturn. No, you didn't just find them; they were already there. You're just telling us. We have so many planets in the solar system that are active and functional, just like Earth. They have lied to us on such a grand scale.
Oh, yeah. You only have 9. And then it went to 8 because they kicked Pluto out. And I'm like, oh, we got more than that.
Nope, Pluto's coming back.
A lot more than that. I mean, where do you think they got the movie Avatar from?
Yes.
That is an actual planet outside of Saturn. That's a real planet outside of Saturn.
Well, they used to think Saturn didn't have rings either. And then that was proven that it had rings. So there's so much that I think they've known it, but hid it from us.
Right. Well, they actually created the rings. Saturn did not have rings. They created the rings. And why? Because it becomes like a record player and it causes a screeching sound. Okay. And the faster it goes, the higher the frequency. Okay. And then they bounce that off and then hit the moon and bounce it down to us or to
I thought some guy had to put a ring on it.
No, I also know that the characteristics of Saturn is government control containment. That's why I thought the ring was there. So if you're saying the frequency is to keep the containment, maybe
right. They control that. They crash those I want to say moons and stuff around it on purpose. And they caused it to have the rings. And notice that it has so many rings. It's just like a record player. Okay. And what they do is it causes a screeching sound because it speeds by so fast that it disrupts and distorts the sound that actually comes from Saturn. Okay, so it's like muffled, and therefore and that muffledness, they can give out a different frequency, a different sound. You think it's coming from that person, but it's actually not coming from that person. And what they'll do is they'll bounce it off on like these planets or these moons, like even the moon out there. It's not real, but they'll bounce it off of that, and that reflects down to us. I want everybody to think about the Death Star in Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that can cause a lot of damage to those particular kind, but those just like that there, it's one side of it looks like a radar, and it will point that frequency right down at you. Okay, and that's what these here moons have done with the frequency. They receive the frequency and then they focus, they'll point it to wherever they want that frequency to be, and that keeps it. And they worship Saturn. They made it dark. Saturn is not supposed to be a bad negative thing. It only became bad negative when they put the rings around it. So
So that's
will
how.
the rings be, or do you think the rings will be removed?
I think they'll be dissipated. I don't know if they're going to suck them back into the planet, but I do know that they will disappear because that is liberation to Saturn. Okay, it's like Saturn was captured, and a ring, and a bracelet, or cuffs, if you can
Yeah.
look like that. So yes, well, it did go away whenever we get into the photon belt. Okay, all of that did go away because Saturn, Jupiter, and Neptune, and Uranus were brown dwarf stars. And once we got back into the photon belt, those gas giants turned back into stars. Except they weren't brown dwarfs anymore; they turned into little white dwarfs. And that's the other suns that we're seeing in the sky. The other ones that people keep talking about, the other 3 or 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's because we are inside the photon belt, and those planets have turned back into stars. They were never planets; they were gas. They were suppressed. They were called shepherds, but they weren't just brown dwarfs. They got to be suppressed dwarfs, which turns them into gas giants, which now they are shepherds. In other words, they take care of the planets that are around them, but Saul, he reigns supreme. He tells them what they can and cannot do.
Yeah. Wow. Well, if you look up, you can tell that there's more stars. There's things in different places that I'm like, I don't remember it looking like this. Yeah, something's off.
Yeah,
All right.
the extent that they've gone to hide so much from us and break it down to something so tiny that we're inside of without us knowing the extravagancy of what's outside of that. So.
Right. That's crazy. Well, we
find
do.
Sorry, Jen.
No, that's all right.
I find it amazing that before, when we were in a golden age before, and now we're going back into the golden age of knowledge and truth, that this was all encrypted in hieroglyphics or in India Sanskrit, that they knew about these planets and everything outside of what we already know. So, I mean, that gives us hope for a new golden age to come and know that we will know all that knowledge.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of mentors and teachers that is going to come in here and actually give us the truth. And the Targaryens, again, they're going to be helping with a lot of this. And I'm very, very grateful to think that God had such an elaborate contingency plan. It's like every time I turn around, there's just something else as God is showing me that God is on the move and God is everywhere. And there's no exception. And we are in this change. And I'm just so glad that this movie is starting to show itself more positive for all of us.
Yeah, the disclosure is so important. Disclosure and justice being served is huge for us right now. We just want to see the wrongs being righted. So,
Exactly.
now, speaking of medbeds, and you said, veterans, of course, would take presidents. Now, can you tell us if all of the littles have been helped already? Is this an ongoing process?
I just
the deep bunkers, those have been taken care of. Now, the ones that somewhat, the best way to say it is they started fighting for us from the outside working camp. Okay. And once they got even underground from the bottom up until the surface, they have helped us with all of that. Now we're responsible for what's on the surface. All right. And yes, there is still children that are being trafficked. There's still children going through things, and there's still orphanages, in homes that these children are trapped in.
Yeah.
Now, they are working on that and they are succeeding, but there is a lot that we are responsible for. Now, I do know that they already they're showing us news of things that's already been done. Okay. And the Europol just got busted Germany, along with Interpol and Europol, busted Germany, and they caught the second biggest child thing.
Wow.
And it's called Kid Flicks. And they had over 13 million top Congress people and everything else from all over.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, they already took care of it. Now they're just exposing it to us so that we have a reaction off of it. Okay. So, and then whenever they say that it's done, it's hands down, it's already been taken care of, then people are like, okay, that one's over with. Bring on another one. That they just found to show it is being done. So yeah.
Yeah, they showed Colombia. I think they had a big ring on trafficking over there that involved Congress people. So they are showing these reveals, but people go, "Oh, it was old." yeah, well, we already know this one.
They make excuses for them. I think people want all of it out there. I want to see names, and then I want to see them out in cuffs. That's a huge thing.
It
We
is.
want justice.
Well, everybody has their justifiable anger, and God is going to give us that, to be able to see justice for all of these heinous things that has been done. But as far as like us being down there in the trenches of that, we're just seeing little clips of it on TV and news and the truthers and stuff like this here. The guys and the people that are actually in and part of that, we have some great help, not just Tartarians, but star families that came in to help us, but I'm really glad that we're now waking up to a brand new world and realizing that everything that we're seeing on the news and everything else has already been done. As somebody once said, it's historical documents. No matter what you're seeing, it's historical documents. It's already been done. And the play is playing itself out. So it's a positive ending. So, well, I don't want to say ending, but a beginning of the end of the beginning.
Well, we do have some questions, and we're going to get Nadia to quit slipping them in there because I already
Tell me about it. At least you got one of them, and I could erase it off the thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I know who tried erasing, but I wanted to keep my 50 out.
Okay, well, I'm going to go in here, and Miss Louise has some very interesting questions for you, Alisa. She says, what med beds are we allowed to have in our healing centers? So if we create humanitarian healing centers, which ones are we allowed to have in there?
Well, if you're going to be out in public, in your regular town or whatever, I would definitely say that would be by the Tesla beds.
Okay.
Because the quantum med beds will not be on the street. Those are secured locations that you can only get there if you're taken there. But as far as like your humanitarian project for the regular masses, yes, I'll definitely buy up a whole bunch of those beds and open up your own center and then start your own vetting process. And you can do that by hiring staff to help you do that. So.
Right. Okay. What kind of training do we need to have to work with the rejuvenation med beds?
You mean to make it work for somebody else or to work for yourself?
I think she's thinking that if you're able to get one of these beds, that's a quantum thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you need to go through training. They want to know what's qualifications or you need to go through training.
Well, when it comes time for this, the people who are supposed to be doing that, they will be notified. So no worries about that.
Okay.
They already have the knowledge inside of them. Okay. And that would be part of them. Well, guess what? You're going to your med bed appointment, and then you come out and you're like, oh, I know how to use these things.
Okay.
There you go. So it's already within them. So no, if she already has that curiosity about her, let that be known to your star family. Tell them, I feel this. I'm being drawn to that. Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And if it is, let it happen whenever I go to my bed appointment, or give me some confirmation. So
that probably, it wouldn't surprise me. That's Miss Louise for you, but it leads to the next part. It's probably the same answer. Who do we talk with regarding working with the military med beds? So she's really wanting to do this bad. She's like, how do I do this? I really want to do this. So and she already has that knowledge. Then it's
Louise, look in my pen.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think she can just approach the military and be asking those questions, but she can speak to her star family and ask those questions. And at least as long as the intent is there, it gets put out to the universe. And she wouldn't be having that intent or that feeling if it wasn't already part of her.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And do we write this as a humanitarian project? Should she even write that up, or is it necessary to turn that in for a humanitarian project?
Well, if she wants to have a med bed center or be part of the quantum med beds, okay, whenever you go into the redemption center, they will ask if you have a project, and she can say, I'm really adamant about being part of the quantum med beds. Okay. And then they will send her to somebody that will discuss that with her. Okay. They're going to need people that's going to be able to do that. The same thing with my projects. They're going to have this list of all these people who have these projects that are ongoing or getting started. Okay. And I will be on that list. There'll be lots of people on there, but I'll be on there too, because I'm going to be needing people, not just for crews, but I'm also going to be needing people that's going to help me fill some of these facilities. Now, I do have the majority of the people that I already need because the Tartarians and the Palladians take those roles, but that would be useless if I don't use some of my brothers and sisters.
Right, right.
So I do know that they'll let me know who these people are that are interested in that. And if they're supposed to be there, they will let me know.
All right. And her last question is, should we mention this when we go for our appointment? Okay. So you just answered that one.
Yeah.
All right. Jennifer, JD says, Alisa has talked about some of us not knowing our true mission or gifts until we use a med bed. Am I one of those? Well, if you probably are doubting your mission and questioning it, then that would say you probably are. I always tell people to dig deep. What did you always want to do as a little kid? Where's your passion? Where's your heart?
Right.
And
then
that's
toys on the field. Which one do you want to play with?
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, I think I know who JD is. I'm sure I've spoken to him a couple of times. But yeah, if you don't necessarily have to know right off the bat, but if you have a curiosity about it, something is telling you, God, I really want to be a part of that sincerity in your heart, then it's probably leading you to the right direction. You know, so don't second guess yourself. So.
Yeah, but I also feel that even if your purpose is here to stand on your grid line, shine your light, that's a purpose. That doesn't mean you're not doing anything.
That's a fact. You're doing something just by being here. You're shining.
Exactly. You're doing something just to be here. And I just noticed my eyebrows
shake people's hands. Tell them how you doing. I'm sharing my life.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of people.
Somebody said you need to be locked up.
A lot of people feel that if they're not physically, actively doing something, that
they're hanging in limbo.
That they're just not doing anything. But you're here, you pray, you send good frequency. All of those beautiful things are a contribution.
And you're joining the family here, and all of this is like we're all. Greg Braden had a really nice YouTube program that he talked about how we're all getting interconnected, as even when we pray together or when we laugh together, how we raise frequency. Absolutely. So even if you're in your let's say time, what do we call it? Why did my brain stop working? You're in your grid. You're on your grid. You're there for a reason. You're there to shine your light, and you're there for all of us to connect. That is an amazing purpose. Mm-hmm. And then you shine with other ones when you stop doubting yourself.
Yeah.
But that is your purpose, and see how well we're all connecting around the world.
Exactly.
So just be happy. Go wash your car. Wash your neighbor's car. Do something.
Wash my car.
The other morning I got here and I just couldn't go to sleep. And I was feeling a little restless. And this is me, people. And when I got things on my mind like that, I will clean like a bitch. So I swept and vacuumed my walls.
Been there, done that. Yep.
So, I mean, it sounds, tedious or stupid, but to me, it was very soothing because it gave me the peace I was looking for, and I get something clean in the process.
Yeah.
You know? So, because I did my best not to let it defeat me, because if I got lost in all of that heaviness, I might have fell off the cliff, but because I was focused on cleaning something and determined, it helped a lot. So.
Right. Yeah. Right. As a reminder, guys, questions are for Alisa today. So if you have a personal or tarot question, you're going to hang on to those. All right. Let's go over here to our starred questions. Miss Katrina. Alisa, do you absolutely have to have the real ID to our meeting? Oh, to the humanitarian or
yes.
the Redemption Center.
No, you do not have to have the you do not have to have that.
All right. You just won't be able to fly.
Yeah, you just won't be able to fly. And look at what your planes are right now. Do you want to fly?
I'll have my own plane.
Yeah.
I'm a real person. I'll have my own plane. I'll be fine.
She's going to swing by and pick us up.
Okay.
I want wings and 5D.
All right, Nikki. Atasca, do you see TSA being revamped or going away completely?
I definitely think it's going to be revamped for a little while.
Yeah.
Okay? But I also know that there's Tartarians that's going to come in and is going to start taking those roles because we're tired of being treated like cattle, even though we're paying for a ticket.
Yeah.
You know, and so there's going to be a lot more friendlier people that's going to help this adjustment.
Okay, well, I'm gonna vip you off of that one real quick because I'm just curious.
Of course you are.
No. I'm sorry. I won't do this on the whole show, but this is interesting. When I went through the airport when I was going to Hawaii, this person kept staring at me. She's part of TSA, but she didn't feel right. Is it because she was a Tartarian trying to figure out what's going on? That's what I'm curious.
It's more that the curiosity was about you. Because you could
But was she a Tartarian?
Well, that's normal for all of us.
Nobody can figure me out.
Yes, I would say absolutely.
My mom when I was born. What?
Yeah, I say absolutely yes, because we're going to come across these people that there's just something about them that's going to stand out.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily evil, but just such a curiosity. It's like, and you just feel something. But yes, that is a good sign. You should have walked up and shook her hand. Hey, how you doing?
Oh, I did. I didn't shake her hand, but I said, hey, you must be new here.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the energy that I was feeling off of her, well, that's funny that you're saying that she was more curious of me because I'm like, where are you from? You know, because I knew she was just staring and having this.
Things. She used the famous pickup line.
Yeah.
Hey, you
probably see your light too. She probably see your aura.
Yeah.
That's
she was from the South Pole.
You. So that's a good thing. See, you actually got an experience with one of them. See, now we have some proof out in the open there. She's done come across one of our Tartarian friends as a TSA.
That's why I had to pull that Vippy because I mean, that lady really stuck in my head. Like, what is her intention? Why is she staring at me like this?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, if you remember last year when I flew down to South Carolina, I remember when we took our trip and going through the TSA and they stopped. Not only was my luggage glowing, I was glowing. And they're like, what is this? Because I had my tarot cards in there. They were glowing. I was glowing and they're using those wands going like, what? Like I was radioactive or something. And they're like, okay, well, she's all right. So,
well, I'm glad you said that because there was something I was trying to remember to tell you, Jen. And coming from Brazil, my cards were glowing in my bag.
They were
bright orange.
When you bless them and that divine energy's in there, you can see them. Yeah.
And she couldn't figure it out. They couldn't pinpoint what it was. I'm like, oh, these 4 boxes. And she goes, oh yeah. It's this little cup. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But it was glowing. It was really funny.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Uncross your arms, King. You're 2 now.
No, you're doing fine.
All right. Miss Mary says, Alisa, will the med beds grow back your teeth?
Absolutely. It'll grow back anything.
Good.
It'll grow back your kidney if you've had a lung taken out. It can grow back that too. Knee, whatever.
I don't want a mustache. I don't want a mustache.
We have to keep squeezing, Nadia.
You'll have a hard time figuring me and King out.
All right. Alisa, how long do you think it'll take all of us to go through MedBed Pro? I know that there's a bunch of them and we're not aware of, but like to get through everybody.
Well, I think right now it seems like it's snail mail because they are, doing the most worst ones, should I say? But as far as like whenever our star families can make that contact with us and we start going to these, like I'm going to use my islands, okay, because there's 26 islands, okay?
Right.
And just one island, if we get the turnkey and we start going and things start moving, all of these islands can put out, 100,000 people a month. If not more, because there will be some that's going to take longer duration because they got a half a body missing. Or half a brain missing, those major ones, that's going to take longer. But for the most part, it's a 5 to 7 day turnaround. You're not going to get this done in 24 hours or 48 hours. Okay, they want you to go there and feel like you're on a vacation. That's the whole point.
Okay.
To feel relaxed, to have fun, to be welcomed, The energy is wonderful, and you'll get there. You'll get your villa. That's where you will set up, whether you have your family or not, and then you will be set up to talk to counselors. And then what the counselors do is like a little pre-op. They're going to ask you some questions. Okay. And Louise, you said you wanted to be a part of the med beds. This might be something that she'd be interested in. And that is to talk to these people, and you find out where their state of mind is at and answer any questions. Okay. That way they have a better idea of where you're at mentally before you lay down in that bed.
Right.
Okay. And if they feel like that you're not ready for it at that moment, they'll take you off and they'll talk to you, because they don't want you going in there with any kind of fear.
That's
okay?
right.
So that's the whole point. So that could take a couple of times at the counselor, but for the most part, people, if your frequency is high enough and you're there, you don't really have to worry about it.
You want to get the most out of it. You don't want any blocks
out of it. And if most people, well, I ain't gonna say most, but I have seen people come in there, and they're automatically asking about modifications. The goal is for you to be back to 25 or your preferred age that you feel like is your prime, but it isn't for you to have bigger boobs, or longer legs.
No,
I don't want
they can have some of mine.
Well, it will proportion you. Just remember that. Whatever it is, you will be proportioned, okay? Because that's your original blueprint. All of this other things of, the pear-shaped woman, small at the top, big at the bottom, all of that is because of this world. That's not the way you're supposed to be.
Well, thank you, Jesus. Now I know. Okay.
Okay, for your original blueprint. But later down the line, if you want to go in there and change the color of your eyes or get bigger boobs or whatever, you can later down the line. But that's not the priority right now. The priority is to get you young, fit, and healthy, and all your parts back where they belong, and for you to remember why you came here. So, but then, we have restaurants there. We have, we want to call
replicators.
Yeah, we have replicators there, but that's only for the restaurants. They are not in the villas. They're for the med bed facilities and the restaurant only. Nobody can have personal access to it. If you need something, they can get it for you. But the restaurants use them for those who want meat. Okay. And of course, the facilities use them in case they need to sign anything out of that. But there's all kinds of recreation that is being there for our brothers and sisters to have fun, whether it be skiing or seeing whales and dolphins. I mean, I've seen new turtles that has blown my mind. I didn't even know that come in that color, but that's okay. And but there's all kinds of different things for them, because they want you to feel like you're just totally relaxed. Okay. And then your children, they ask for your children to go first. That way, whenever you come out younger, your children won't flip out.
Oh,
okay. Be okay with it.
Okay? That makes sense.
Yeah. And the same thing with your animal. You go in before your animal does. That way, if your animal decides to not stay, it will not affect you like that.
Oh, okay.
Because they have thought about everything. They want to make sure that everything is calm and wonderful and loving. Now, if a parent has a child that is a mongoloid or mentally handicapped, whatever it may be, you cannot leave that child unattended. The parents have to be there.
Right.
Okay? Because the child knows them. The child's familiar with them. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's where parents will come into play. Or if that child does not have a parent, it could be an aunt or somebody.
Right.
But that will be assisting it. That way the child knows that they're there. So because we want to keep those children as calm as possible as well.
So on these islands and these villas, do we have to wear pants? I'm just curious.
Well, as long as you cover something, you're all right.
Every day but
we
Friday.
have clothes for everybody too. That's another thing, because we have a gift shop that has, you can go in there and get natural shampoos, natural soaps, stuff like this here, but you can also get garments to wear. So they don't expect nobody to bring suitcases, my brothers and sisters. They don't.
Oh yeah, we're not packing for this trip.
Birthday suits.
Hey, Jen, Alisa said they're not doing boob lifts or anything, so I don't think pants is going to be a big issue.
All right. Okay, Katrina said, at the redemption centers, when they scan you, can you ask what they saw so one could fix their faults?
That's not their job. They're just there to scan you.
Okay. All right.
Well, you guys have to understand, we're in this program that we're working on ourselves. There are no faults, so you have to accept that in the first place, or you won't be in a high vibration to be able to go into one.
Right.
Yeah, we're perfect.
We're perfect.
That's right.
And we're abundant and we're prosperous, guys.
Don't fix what isn't broken, just enhance
There
it.
you go.
Just enhance it
There you go.
or lift it.
I I get to be meaner? Okay. I get to enhance my meanness, right?
Ooh.
All right. Charlene, Alisa, what should we as a collective focus our attention on at the current time?
Focus on yourself. It's all about you. You're the star. It's all about you. Be happy. Get ready to receive your global award. It's all about you. Okay. Take pictures of yourself, put on a funny hat, get your partners to get you some fancy. Say, I am the star. And celebrate. Make yourself, I don't know, a fried bologna sandwich. I don't care. But make something for yourself that makes you feel special because you're the star. Okay. Now don't go around. I mean, you can go around after you. Would you like my autograph?
I was going to
It
say,
makes you happy, as long as it makes you happy. But it just be in that state of mind that it's all about you, and everything that comes out of your mouth is being watched and recorded. You're the star, So what would a star do in a movie? Be creative,
Take it. Oh, I mean, be creative.
Yeah.
now look, Alisa, I have to come back.
with it.
I have to come back to work Monday with these two. If they get on here with crowns and want to be treated with royalty, that makes their ego swell.
You ain't heard nothing yet.
Actually, celebrity status is awesome. I mean, I am very. People recognize me on the street because I'm karaokeing over here. This is fun.
Nice, my sister. I like karaoke too, so that's pretty
word of warning, guys. It's all about you and have fun. But if you're still doing your lessons and you're getting triggered, that's something you have to address. It's not like, wait a minute, Alisa said we're supposed to have fun and be happy, but you're still working on yourself.
Yeah,
right.
It's a good balance.
It's a good balance. Yeah,
exactly.
As it comes about, just deal with it the best way you can, and sometimes I get a little snarky with myself. Well, I'm the star, and the star's not going to take that. We have time for that. Can we take a break? Cut, please.
And if not, Violetta has Benadryl, so everybody knows.
Yeah, Violetta's going to
You
hook
got tater salad too.
It is a balance, but it's definitely a balancing act. So do your best.
The meds coming out of especially the quantum, do they allow you to remember all of your past lives, or do we really want to?
No, there'll be certain ones that are designated for you to remember because that's the knowledge you brought with you.
Okay. All right.
If you had all of them, that would be a little too overbearing, I would think.
I would say. All
I'd
right.
be like, who can I push off the cliff? I'd be like, who could I push off the cliff now?
Oh, no.
You already know the reason. You already know the answer to that one.
Uh-oh. Okay. All right. Roman says, will the energy grid created by the activations of the multiple arc of covenants across the realm mean we finally have free energy? Is that how it works?
I would say that's close because once it gets cut on, because remember whenever I was telling everybody that whenever I got the first major download, that I realized that I was above a grid. Okay. Mm-hmm. I can see that grid down there. But I also know that grid was covered in insignias. Okay. Dark magic, dark insignias on a grand scale. We're talking about 100,000 mile area. It was covered. So once those things were gone, then it helps to release all of that curse upon the land. So now the grid lines are open. They're free. There's no stop signs on them. They're all open. And then once they turn these things on, it's going to light up like that. And a lot of people don't realize it. Yes, the pyramids are a power station, but what kind of power station are they? It is called a ether receptacle. It pulls in that energy, okay, and it shoots it out across the lands, okay, and that is going to give us the free energy. But there are smaller things that we can use until they get to that point. They're going to they'll bring out the magnetic energy. Like my glass beach house, okay, it has a lot of holographic properties about it, but it also everything runs on free energy. So of course I wanted to know how's this working, and what it is on the base of the first floor. I'm just going to use that. It's like the trimming all the way around in a circle. There is a 3 by. I'm sorry, it's a 2 by 3 magnet. And it goes into a giant circle. And because it got the coils around it, it generates energy. So whatever I turn on, it comes on.
Wow.
And it's all done with magnetic energy. All they did was take a magnet and hook a positive and negative to it.
Yeah.
And everything feeds off of it, and it's automatic. And because the magnet is big enough, it can hold what I need for light. Now, when it comes to the holographic technology of that, there is another thing. It's a pod, or it looks like an egg, and it actually brings in energy. We use these at the villas on the islands. It's because it's just like it's pretty big, probably about that 2 foot, and you can set it anywhere, and it feeds energy to where you're at.
It's almost like a portable battery station.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the eggs, they're not battery. Those are actually done by quantum mechanics. Okay. Only thing I can say is it's the way they do it. It makes a harmonizing sound frequency, but we can't necessarily hear it. But because it's so perfect, right to that 0 point, it causes itself to suck in ether, and that is. And when it sucks it in, it bans it out. In other words, you'll be walking around in it, but it won't harm you. It just turns on everything. Wow. And they have these actually for now. They're going to be placing these for these communities, so you can actually power an entire community. Until we get to the point where they turn all these pyramids and stuff back on, you know, that's what we're going to be using. But electromagnetic energy is the best free energy there is, as far as like something small, and then you use the pyramids for the big dogs. And that's what
I think that's why they're revealing what's going on in Giza right now with what they have found under the pyramids, these so-called cylinders or columns, or is that a distraction and doesn't really?
No, that really exists. And whenever I first looked at it, the only thing that came to my mind was that is a massive plug, and it was into the ground. And because they have a lot of these here, I want to say aquifers and running rivers that are underneath there, and they're highly charged. If you put pressure on any kind of a crystal, it's going to generate energy.
Right.
If you put that crystal in a flowing energy, it's going to suck it up. Okay, and that's what it did. It sucked it up through the coils like a plug, and it turns on the power station, the pyramid itself.
Okay. All right. Katrina asked, Alisa, is it okay to start one project at a time and put money away for later projects to first get adjusted to this?
Absolutely. And they will give you project managers that'll help you with that. So if you're getting overwhelmed, you don't have to worry about that. They're going to give you all the crew, all the people, all the things you're going to need for your project. It's going to take a lot of that burden off of you. Just have an idea of what you want, and their job is to make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. None of us have ever done this before, and if we take on too much, no one wants to get overwhelmed. That's the last thing.
No, they seen me coming. I was ready. I have had this down pat. So I mean, just a perfect presentation that they seen me coming. So
okay, all right, Miss Mary Jean, are we going to be able to step through portals soon?
No, not real soon, but it eventually will happen. So yes. Okay. That's going into that new space age kind of thing, but that's a little ways off. But it doesn't mean that our certain soldiers and stuff like this here aren't already doing that.
Right.
Yeah, they're doing that. Yeah.
All right, Miss Colleen, you say the homeless will be taken care of, but how will they and others in abusive or other difficult situations go about getting this help?
They are very aware of who and what is happening. And so try your best to put out positive thoughts about that. They're already being taken care of. They're already getting help. And even if you want to, the Palladians came and helped my friends, or somebody, just give it some idea of what you're the star. What does the star want to happen? What do you want to happen in your movie? You're wanting it to be better. So state that for them. Just like I was saying, if you have a past memory that you've already taken care of, change that narrative for that version of you.
Right.
And stay big positive about the things that you have around you.
Right. All right. Sherry, do you see the green light before the crash of financial system or in conjunction with it?
I think that the green light that they're telling me is not only where they'll tell us that, we're not alone, but behind the scenes, we get to meet our star family. So there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be doing that we don't need their permission for. We're just setting the stage for our projects. Okay, you're getting ready for it, and then that will be exposed onto the field, and then it will be a boom. Because like, where are all these people coming from, and why are they building all this stuff, and what are they doing? I want some of that.
Right. I think many people we're all frustrated. you know, because we just want them to pull the Band-Aid off. Let's just do this. Let's get it done. And because it's exhausting. And
It is. So, and
Um,
God keeps telling me, do not fix something that isn't broken. Just enhance it. It's already been done. Stop trying to fix it.
exactly. All
But
right.
you always put out positivity whenever you have these moments that come upon you, you know, like your neighbor or whatever it is, you know, try to say something positive because you want to see them succeed as much as you do.
Right. All right. Miss Mary should offer future technologies for humanitarian projects. Should we offer them or will they?
Probably the off-world, our family.
Yeah, our Star Families is going to offer that. Just like, you know, I didn't have to pay for these islands and I didn't have to pay for these med bed facilities, quantum med bed facilities. They were, I'm going to say they're being lent to me to use for, because they belong to Tartaria. Okay. Now, your Star Families, they also have access to this technology too, that if you're doing the humanitarian project and you go to the Redemption Center, you get to meet your project managers and everything else that's going to help you. Somebody in there is going to know if you're serious or not, and they have the technology that you will be able to use.
Right.
Yeah, for example, like one of my projects has to do with geothermal food growing or crop growing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that when I get there, we'll have an off-worlder that has a better way of it than they're doing already, you know. I'm hoping they're
the Nunabons. They're called the Nunabons, and they're fascinating people because they're excellent. They deal with
what did you call them?
They're called the Nunabons.
Oh, I thought Unabombers. I'm like, what?
Nunabon. Nunabon.
Nunabombs. Okay, got it.
And they are a very Hawaiian-looking race, and that the majority of them does have very long black hair. But they are experts at lava tunnels and geothermal. Okay, because they come from a world that has a lot of islands, so they had to learn how to go from one island to the other. And they dug these tunnels, and they're masters at growing things under the ground. And they're going to be bringing a lot of this with us, with them to help incorporate it here. We're going to use those lava tubes on ways that we never really imagined it could be done. But yeah, and they can also be used for tunnels as well, traveling as purposes. But the Nunamons are professionals at this and growing things underground, and they deal with a lot of geothermal, which is surprising me. I was like that. They all look Hawaiian to me, but I know they're not, but they look Hawaiian.
Okay.
Polynesian.
All right. This King of Cups guy. Here we go. Are there two motherships hovering above Washington City currently?
I know of one ship. I wouldn't call it a mothership, but I guess compared to us looking at it, it would seem very, very, very large. So we'll go with that, a sister ship. But yeah, there is one there, and they are definitely planted over the major cities, you know, because they're there keeping tabs and watching everything and observing as well. But yeah, the big motherships are outside the dome, so those could not possibly fit in here comfortably.
Well, yeah, it'd be a tight squeeze.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, Nadia.
After that,
have they gone through it already? Like you said, we were responsible for what's going on the surface, but all the ones that they've rescued, have they?
Yes.
Underground.
A lot of those children that were in the deep dwells of those domes, some that's never even seen daylight, and they're 4 or 5 generations worth of it down there.
Yeah.
Those ones, those most traumatic ones, were taken off planet to a world that they can recoup in.
Right.
And yes, they all got to go through these med beds, but we're talking about children that were like animals. They don't speak nothing. They don't have no communications whatsoever, and they've been traumatized to boot. So yes, these children were taken off world, so that they can be taken to families that will help them with that. So.
Nice.
Yeah. They're the main reason many of us got into humanitarian. Is all we wanted to do. This is all about the children.
Yeah.
And it's just a relief knowing that they have gotten, whether it's here on Terra Gaia or off world, we're just glad that they're healed and have families.
Well, there's still a lot on the surface, and these orphanages and stuff like that, places that we are unaware of, that we haven't been told about. That is going to be exposed, that we can help these children. And trust me, they are already being taken care of. It's just that it's behind the scenes right now, and we will be knowing about it soon. So no worries.
Yeah. Right, Nadia. Did I feel a mini earthquake a couple of days ago in Brazil, or was Brazil happy to see me? Check
Did you
you
feel
out of
the
Brazil.
earth move?
No, I actually felt underneath. Nobody else felt it, but I did.
Cool.
That's Brazil trying to get rid of Nadia. Get off of me.
And it was meant for you to feel it then, because I mean that is something sensitive. The Indians and the Hawaiians, they can feel that stuff in their feet.
Yeah, that is the second time, believe it or not. The first time was in Tulum, Mexico. I kept asking people if they're feeling the ground shake, and they're like, no. And I'm thinking, where do we go if there's an earthquake? And then I feel it here, standing in certain locations. So I guess it's happy to see me or shake me off, as Jen said.
That's right.
I was gonna say it was happy to see you.
That sounds better than a dog sitting there going, get off me.
Yeah.
Mama Gaia throwing tick spray at me.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was all the questions that I had starred. Do you guys have anything else you want to ask Alisa before we?
Are we able to phase through walls while in 5D?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Will we be able to phase through walls in the 5D?
Absolutely.
We should try now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
I tried already.
Money or anything
I
like
just
that there.
kept-
So we can manifest things ourselves and we can manipulate things ourselves because the 5D frequency is that high. Now we'll start out at 5.1 and we'll have to learn how to do this stuff. But yes, we can
This
do
is kind of hard. I don't know.
Yeah. But I did want to let my brothers and sisters know that Sunday I'm going to be putting out a song. And this song, I wrote it for all of us. It's from my heart for all of us. And I was just compelled to do it because I was taken to it and feeling it and experiencing it so much. And I listened to what my brothers and sisters have to say because they're calling out, right? They're calling out for some kind of an answer. So I wrote this song and I'm absolutely proud of it. And I know that it came from my friends giving me wonderful energies. But it's called Dear Tartaria.
Oh.
And it will be coming out Sunday. So everybody can check that out. I'm very, very pleased with it. And it's a message in a bottle, my brothers and sisters.
Well, and everybody needs to check out the rest of your music too. You keep me hopping because of the difference in the songs. And I'm like, are we country today? What are we doing?
Yeah, well, I do like the fact that God gives me all these different genres because a lot of people are like, well, you're just a country woman. Where's this rock coming from? My ass lived through the 80s, people.
There you go.
That's self-explanatory right there. Just because I'm country doesn't mean that I don't have some kind of. I like country rock. I don't necessarily like rock as much as some people do, but I like my girl rock. I do. I really do have an appreciation for girl rock, and I'm glad that God gave me the ability to bring some of that girl rock back.
Yeah.
That really is part of me. Please check out my songs. They all come from my heart as a way of me, God allowing me to express what I feel and what I experience for all of you to listen to. And the other thing that I wanted to tell you, my brothers and sisters, is that next month, from May 17th to May 20th, I will be in Melbourne, Florida. So if anybody's in Florida, and you want to be able to, just come by or say hi or whatever. We're not having no big convention, no hotel thing or whatever. I'm just going down there and I'm going to meet up with Honey and Scott and Dana. And so it's just going to be a little thing, but we are going to have dinner together. So, but if anybody is interested in saying hello or whatever, maybe that would be wonderful. So just so
that's one of the most beautiful things that I think a lot of us are looking forward to is finally getting together. I mean, there's quite a few of us that have met in person, but to all come together and work with one another and really just there. I mean, we have great frequency just through the cameras or talking and communicating, but can you imagine all of us in one location?
Talk about a party.
That would be dangerous.
That would be one heck of a family reunion. And that's what we've been promised. We've been promised this Jubilee is going to be like a very massive family reunion. and that is what's coming. And I'm looking forward to the food.
Yeah.
If y'all got food, you got my attention. Simple as that. But
we do
Tater
tater
salad.
salad with Benadryl in it, I guess.
yeah. When I go down to Florida, I'm definitely, my one nice treat will be that I'm going to have myself some seafood. I can't be down there and not have no seafood. So
There you
You,
go.
you need seafood? Come down here to Brazil. That's all they have. I'm like, please give me some.
absolutely. I'd eat it every day. That is my preference over beef, chicken, and pork. So,
JD says, "Can we really join you in Florida?"
sure.
That's your purpose, JD. Go for it.
There you go.
And I won't give you the exact address, but for those, if you're looking for a place to stay or whatever, I'm going to be off of what's called Fee Avenue, which is a pretty long road, but that's where I will be off Fee Avenue.
Look for the glowing aura
Yeah, looking for the.
out the window.
Well, my nieces wanted to. It's their birthday, so they wanted to go out of town and go to the beach or something. I said, well, how about Melbourne, Florida? And I said, what's in Melbourne, Florida? I said, the beach.
The beach.
I said, my friends are going to meet up down there. I said, so, if you want to go, I said, that'd be great. Then they can give me a ride because I don't have a good enough car, right? So they're like, yes, we could do this. And then I was telling them, I said, my friends are going to be talking about UFOs and stuff like that there. And then my niece Rachel was like, Aunt Lisa, don't your ass go down there and get abducted and end up on the 5 o'clock news.
You can't abduct her. She'll just willingly walk on the ship. So
But I am going to be
We're back.
the 17th until the morning of the 20th. I wish I could be there longer, but that's the only time that I have and can afford.
Right.
To be honest.
By the way.
And I got somebody to give me a ride, so that makes me.
oh,
pretty
hey, well, that
There you
works
go.
out. Real
Hang on.
quick, Miss Sherry wants to know if we'll be able to adopt the orphans that have gone through recovery.
Yes, they're
Okay.
counting on it.
Beautiful.
Nice.
And the Tartarians are going to be doing a lot too. They're going to help with those children too, but they want to give us the opportunity for us because we have been crying out and we want to help these children. So yes, absolutely.
Beautiful.
And King of Wands wants to know if there's a special med bed for gingers.
Gingers.
Why? What's
Aw.
wrong with the ginger? You're perfect. You are perfect.
It's
Ginger,
special, all right.
it's not trying to say that is a defect or whatever. No, I think gingers are absolutely beautiful. I have one. My daughter, her name is Carolina, and she is a ginger, and she has the blue eyes, and she has alabaster skin, no freckles.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, wow, that's such a beautiful combination.
My girls are
It is
gingers. Yeah.
beautiful.
And her name is Carolina, so that's an extra boot right there.
There you go. All right. All right, guys. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for joining us and answering our questions.
Okay.
And we're just keeping our vibrations high, keeping the frequency up, still working on the inner work. A lot of people try to push it aside and don't want to do it, but we try to encourage them to keep going.
Absolutely.
Keep going.
Because, success is the only outcome, and I know that all my stars are going to make it. So
Yeah.
I know that you're me and I'm you, and I am going to succeed. That's the only outcome I see, and I'm looking forward to joining my brothers and sisters in such a beautiful world, and we get to start healing and fixing things. So our patience has come to the point where it's going to pay off, my brothers and sisters. Okay, just have a little bit more endurance, a little bit more patience. And my Father, Mother God has not steered me wrong. My friends, Hanai, Kaylin, and Onar and Corian has not told me anything that has been proven wrong. So I only have the assumption that what the information I'm being given is going to be happening because they haven't told me anything wrong as of yet. Now, can I be wrong? Absolutely. But am I doing that? No. I'm just going to say future proofs the past. That's been told a lot. And they have the things that they have told me has come to fruition. They have never told me to give y'all a date. The med beds are going to be here next month.
Exactly.
They've never done that to me. They've always said, just it's in the works, it's coming. Just have your patience. Okay. But now the difference is we have a green light. So let's see where that green light takes us by the end of the year. Okay.
That and our thoughts and words are powerful, and we need to try to keep them as positive as possible.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Alisa, because this is something we always say, even whatever we're hearing and that, we always know it's being pushed back. always use your discernment. Whatever we have is maybe a different truth than for each of you guys.
Right.
So always never fall into believing something if it doesn't feel right to you.
Right. And they're going to try to throw that out there to throw you off guard or get you to jump.
Exactly. That's a test
That's
of faith.
their purpose. Like whenever I first heard it, God instantly said, well, what do you believe? I don't believe that crap. I know better. You know, and it was like, absolutely, don't let nobody take that away from you, because I have seen it, walked upon it, tasted it, touched it, and experienced. I know this is real in fact, and nothing that anybody says to me is going to take that from me. And I know that's hard to do whenever you haven't had that experience yourself, my brothers and sisters, but I can only get, that's why God put me out here, is to let you know this stuff is so real. It is so very, very real. I would love to come back and let y'all see me as 25. I would really love to do that.
We're all going to come
like
back.
everybody else. I have to wait just like everybody else.
Jen, Alisa will come back and go, I don't want to.
Oh, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen for good reason.
It will. And we're gonna manifest it. You know, we're gonna manifest it. Our thoughts.
We're manifesting it. We're all here.
Yeah. Thank y'all for inviting me, Jen and Michael.
Oh, we love to have you.
Yeah, Michael,
I know that you're
nice, my brother. If you just spoke a little more. I mean, you got such a dashing mustache.
Because I'm taking all this information from you.
Yeah. He's soaking it in. He's like a sponge.
Yeah.
He is a sponge. He drinks.
And he's used to it because Nadia and I never let him speak anyway. So
Yeah, and I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to close this out with
okay.
Oh,
The
no.
arm cross. Yes. Yes. All right. All right. Well, Lisa, thank you again, honey. And I love you so much. And
Thanks for sharing your time with us today.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to share my time with you. And I'm really glad that I was a little bit more chipper and awake, so I didn't stutter or anything like that. Watch people send me emails. Yes, you did.
We will not let you sleep here. I'm sorry.
No.
We got ways to
sleep
do it.
here.
I love you, my brothers and sisters, and as always, please remember you are everything that you see, no exception. So be kind to it.
We're
And to you.
stars.
Us
All
too.
right. All right, guys. Well, that's the show, and we appreciate Alisa. And
Should I show you a preview of the beach that I'm by?
Oh, if you want.
You're buying the beach?
Buying the beach?
I'm buying it, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that's my best friend right there.
Actually, if you want, there's an island for sale. I'm
Ooh.
thinking about it. Okay, let me see. Okay, if it's not too bright. Ready? King,
I've
close
got
your
a
eyes.
price
Too much
for you,
sun.
too.
The
Let's see if
sun.
we can see it. I don't think you could see it. There it is.
Oh, there it is. Oh, how pretty.
Isn't that nice?
See the island back there?
Yeah.
The two of
Let's
them,
go buy an island.
probably three.
We can buy 3.
Those are just the humps of the Loch Ness. We'll just say
There
that.
you
Oh,
go.
so
That's
what was
me.
It was on another side before. Good thing I was wearing pants. I just realized
I'm glad I didn't
Oh.
purchase those islands, but I do know that after the medbed facilities are used there, that those islands will continue to be a resort,
Mm.
and they will be
Okay.
Tartaria's resorts. I would like for them to give me. I have my own island, so I really can't complain. But I would like to have like Emma Island.
Oh,
I would
okay.
love that. That would be awesome, man.
Nice.
them.
All right. Well, you guys are beach people. I'm a mountain girl. Maybe I'll get my own mountain. How about
There
that?
you go. Get your own
I
man.
tried climbing one yesterday.
All right, guys. Have a beautiful weekend. King, do you have a show this weekend?
I do not have a show until Tuesday.
Okay, until Tuesday. So everyone have a
Okay.
beautiful Easter. If you're spending time with loved ones, have fun. Get out there and find you an Easter egg or something. I'm going to spend time with the littles. I love you, Lisa. I love you, King and Nadia.
Aw.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. All right. Bye, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And we love our chat and we appreciate our mods. And
I let the thing go off.
we'll see you Monday. So I hope that Brazil is not successful about shaking you off. So
No, they're just happy to see me. I know we'll talk about that later. Bye,
Okay.
guys.
All right,
Love.
guys. Beautiful weekend. Yes, I love all of you. King of Wands is just needing some attention. You're precious, honey. All right, guys. I love you. Blessings, blessings.